Someone's situation is always worse than yours, but when someone says that, especially when you're feeling something, I don't like that. It's a bit like when you might have an issue and someone will show you someone in a wheelchair. I'm like, okay, cool, but my back's still hurting.
People would be saying, how can they support the channel? Chiso by Chiso. I've got tops, got hoodies, I've got the Dragon Ball Z tees, like the Pain and Full Star tees. You lot could support, buy some of the merch. I'll be able to churn out more content. This one I'm just waiting by myself for the moment, and I'll bring out more colours. Please support.
When I hear all these rappers saying I did this, I bought my mum, like, is this what's meant to happen? Because it's almost like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but is this what we're meant to be doing? Or like going to university, for instance, when I went to uni and I'm seeing a lot of other people's children from other cultures not having to work while studying because their parents have patterned things for them. Whereas maybe I'm seeing all of us lot having to do 20, 30 hours of part-time work while studying.
I feel like there's a cut-off point, man.
Of what?
There's a cut-off time because, like, for example, I've got children to look after. I don't need to be looking after my mum right now. And even when she gets to a certain age where she can't look after herself, I've still got the children to look after. So it's going to be like, Mum, I hope she doesn't have to ask me to do stuff because I can't be doing it. And I've got to look after my kids because it hit me the other day.
You got kids and a bonus kid now.
You see what I'm saying? Because the other day it hit me, I was like, right, remember back in the day when you go to school and someone might have like a faded jumper or holding their trousers thinking, flipping on, man, your mum's not patting you. Or whoever your care is, they're not patting you. If my son or my daughter gets a hold in their trousers, they're coming to me and I've got to sort out. So imagine they're going to school with holy flipping shoes or whatever and my mum's in a flipping mansion or something or getting looked after. That's why, for me, there's a cut-off point. And the cut-off point is, as soon as you have children...
Because I know the burden word sounded harsh, but I just think... I was reading something on the gram the other day where it was saying, have you forgiven your parents? You know, and there was no before or after. It was just a simple question. So you can take whatever you want from that. Have you forgiven your parents? And I just wonder whether a lot of people have forgiven their parents from their upbringing, whether, you know, where you mentioned that you don't see your parents maybe being a burden, that it's just a responsibility which you're meant to do, I assume when they get to a certain age. But shouldn't they have patterned things for themselves?
What if they couldn't though?
It's relative though, because like, when I used to drive the hospital bus, I used to take old people to their hospital appointments. And then there's certain people I take home, and then I know when I put you in this house and take you off the wheelchair and leave you, you ain't seen no one again until you go to hospital. And I know they got kids. And when I leave that building, I think your kids are pieces of shit. Because they're leaving you here to suffer and rot. And when I know that, when your kids, like my mum wiped my ass. My mum's done stuff for me that no one else could do or probably would do. And my mum is like, I could do anything in this world, barring do murder or probably someone, and my mum will have my back. Like, and that gives me that does something for me. That's like that unconditional love conversation, like that is priceless to me. In the same way we think, could our parents have done better or be better? Could we not be better children or better sons or better, do you know what I mean? Because we can all complain about the people who have their stuff set and put in a way, but then we could look back at the people who were like orphans or whose parents are proper terrible. So like it could always be worse. Like, and I think my parents generally did the best they could do by me.
Yeah,
and
the same way.
Like, I don't know. You're supposed to, man.
All right, so we're all in our we're in like mid-30s, late 30s, yeah? So, obviously, I don't own a property. I don't think any of us do here. Have you got a private pension?
I got a pension, because from a bus driver, I've got about 3 or 4 pensions.
Okay.
But it ain't nothing amazing like I can rely on it though.
Now, is it too soon to be thinking of retirement at this age now?
I've thought about retirement since my first job. I really don't like working. I really don't like working. My goal is to have enough money to make it work for me. Like I don't like working, and I'm gonna have stuff set in place.
Because when I asked obviously, like my mum owns her property, but she doesn't own it outright. And the problem we've got now is that the mortgage is up soon. She's done interest only, so she's got the repayment now to pay. I don't know if you. So basically, now the problem we've got now is that the repayment is something like, let's just call it 150 grand. Yeah, is the repayment part. Now, if my mum doesn't have 150 grand to pay back the bank, we've got to sell the property. If that makes sense. So
you
the family home.
You can't remortgage the.
No, because she's too old to remortgage now because of her age. So it's either it's either one of us children take the property on and take it as a mortgage so that the bank can get their money, or we've got to sell the yard. Now, as I said, my mum came from Nigeria. She came here with a Harry Potter book. Like that's how she flew here. She had no passport, no papers, literally just on a broomstick.
Harry Potter.
I thought you meant she was on the plane and that's all she brought with her.
Right, she came here Bandulu. So she had no passport, nothing.
That's
So
a hustler.
the trip back in the day was you went to Holland, and then from Holland you could get to the UK. So she got here no passport in it. So when she was working here, she was working on other people's NI numbers. So she was doing scatty for years until she became a pastor, and then she had her own church. Now the problem is that she didn't set up a private pension for herself. So obviously now she's getting to this age of where she's old now, and my mum's hustled. I wish she didn't have to have hustled. Maybe the decisions maybe she could have made in hindsight could have been better. But now my mum's at an age now where, good thing she's got 5 kids now. So the reverse of it now, she's got, even if I'm like, me and my mum are beefing right now.
Same.
See?
It's
Same.
four
Same.
more of you.
Same.
So there's more of us. So now my mum, she thinks she's smart. So when I'm beefing her, she'll go to Angela. When she's beef, she's got 5 people she can go to bounce off in it. I don't like it because I try to I'm not gonna lie. I try to switch up sometimes. I go to the siblings group and go, yo, I'm not talking to mum. So in case she hollers at you and tries to be friendly for the next couple of weeks, like block her in it.
You're a prick. You're a prick.
Like you're not gonna try. No, because my mum is just sick.
You're a prick.
No, son, don't try. No, I'm getting mad now. Don't try and beef me. And then you want to go to my younger brother to get like. For instance, my mum went to Nigeria the other day, and when she's beefing me, she knows I'm not gonna pay for an Uber to go to the airport. So then she'll then holler at Michael. But usually it's me she comes off for the Uber. Because we're beefing, she'll now go to my little brother. My little brother will do it. And I'm like, bro, yeah, mum's gonna message you for an Uber.
Do you know what's funny? Say to cut you there. My mum does the opposite from what you're doing.
Okay.
So obviously my mum and my little brother live together, and my son's there now because of
Okay.
GCSEs and whatever. My godmum's a school teacher, innit? So
Yeah.
she helps him out with whatever. So obviously I need to file for my accounts now, innit? My accounts are overdue.
Yeah.
The code's going to the house.
Yeah.
The whatever code, innit?
Yeah.
It's going to the house, innit? It's not going to my email because my email is popped down now. I can't get into it. I need my code.
You're ringing your
For my brother, like, yo.
Find that letter.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, mum's got it. I was like, oh.
Now you got to ring
I
your
thought
mum to get
I thought my
it.
son like, yo, yeah, nan's got it. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. So I need this code. Everything's gonna pop down. I'm thinking, bro, I'm just gonna make my businesses close down, bro.
No, but
I'm that stubborn.
I've got the spare key to my mum, so whenever I need letters, I just go to my mum. So my mum's not. She doesn't watch us anyway. My mum's a nice now, so I've got all my letters. Like I've got a credit card the other day, and I needed to get it. It's been there for months. Mum's on holiday now. I've not found a credit card. I've got all my letters that I need because we're beefing.
I need bare letters, bro.
We're beefing.
I need letters, bro. I need them.
Did you see love in your house growing up? What was your first experience of family love? Did you see love? Did you see your mum and dad hug? Did you see?
Yeah, man.
You saw love in the
Went
house.
to dinners all the time, like fine dining.
Did you have dinner table in the house?
Yeah.
You didn't eat on trays. Did you have a dinner table when growing up when you was younger? Or did you eat on trays?
Well, but I don't think that's our thing though, man.
Because
You know what I mean?
when I see some
Just
of my
'cause you
mates,
watch TV. Go on, sorry.
did you have a dining room? So you didn't? Did you have an actual dining room?
It was a living room, but
And you had like a dining table, dining
Yeah,
chair. So you had
yeah,
like
For a
you'd have
parent,
dinner
not my
on the
host.
dining table
Yeah.
with your family.
yeah.
Oh, T,
Until what age?
Imagine.
So what happened to you?
I told you after I went private.
Well, seriously, what happened to you?
After when I went secondary school, but I turned into a rebel.
So you had like a dining table, like you would have like cutlery set up and everything.
Everything, bro. We couldn't eat.
Everybody hates
We
Chris.
couldn't eat until we finished our. We couldn't drink until we finished our food as well. You
So
can't
basically,
eat and
you
drink
couldn't
at the same
take
time.
food into the bedroom. Like you couldn't eat in your
You
bedroom.
could be eating in the chair.
We'd eat watching TV though. We could have sit down and eat and
Bro,
watch something.
I should have. Listen, like I said, I
You
went
was
to private
privileged.
school. 100%. My mum used to go to school
Ah,
at
man,
M3, bro.
privileged ain't the word, man.
What is
Just
it?
a
What would you
basic
call it?
family setup.
But do you know how bad it is? But that's how bad it is that well, let me not generalize. To me, I would have looked at you as privileged, whereas some would see it as normal.
No, but it's just different though, man. Because you like
Dinner
there's-
around the dinner table. We can't even do that now.
Yeah, but what that gives you, that whole
That's mad what
family,
you just said, though.
that family around each other and eat together and get to learn everybody's day. There's people in countries where they only have tables that have that relationship without the table. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's still possible for that to be there without that. Like, I don't feel like
That's true.
My parents never weren't together when I was growing up, and everybody likes to downplay it like a negative thing. For me, it was amazing. I loved it
Okay.
because I could, like, my families were in competition Like, do you get what I'm doing? Because I see it now, because I don't live with my daughter. When she's with me, I try my best to make that time the best it is. So she, do you get what?
Mum, we're like, yeah, listen, it was going off at that.
Do you know what I mean? And that's an element. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So my family did that. So I had two families constantly battling to do something to make me happy, and I could play my parents off each other. I don't look at someone who had them together. I look at them like, "Rah, that's kind of shitty." You've got one unison discipline voice. Like, if I don't get here, I can go over here.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? What I don't have here, I have here. Like, it worked out in my favor. Like, you can kind of be red eye and look at what other people have, but that's not your path.
That's good to look at that way, though.
Like, do you know what I mean?
What was you gonna say, Gabe? You gonna say something?
No, I was just thinking that.
Getting kids
Like-
at the dinner table now.
You're a proper coconut. You really want to be?
No, do you know what it is? There's certain things that I feel that maybe things that we've normalized because of, and I can only talk from my experience, the trauma that I saw growing up, like, you know, living in a B&B. So we was in that bed and breakfast.
Is trauma the right word, though? I feel like you're using some harsh words today.
Well, I don't know whether you call it trauma, but when there's 6 of you in a room, maybe it's not trauma, maybe
Experience,
it's just
maybe?
character
building?
I think it was. I tell you what I think is traumatic though is that, you know, when imagine you've got like a jacket and some clothes which you've had to put in storage. You've then gone to storage, you can't find it. Let's say, for instance, you're coming home, you know, as a young boy, you're having to share a room with your sister or 3 girls. Now it's not traumatic, but
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal, you know, being in a bed and breakfast.
But it could always be worse.
Well, what is worse than that? For instance, having maybe 3 months away in this hostel, 3 months of moving there, we spend 6 months there,
Homeless.
not having a base.
Homeless.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's normal, but
we could be
to me
homeless.
we was homeless.
Is it?
You know the thing is, yeah, everyone's struggle is bad, but
It's relative.
it's relative to each individual. Because sometimes, like the other day, one of my friends, she's like very privileged, where like she's a Zimbabwean girl. Her mum is done well for herself. Her mum came here herself, but she patterned herself properly, got properties, everything. You get me? So she was like the other day. She goes, her mum's moving to Zim, blah blah blah, with her little sister and her brother. Little sister doesn't want to go, but fast forward anyway past that. She's like, I was just chilling. Her mum just sent me like $5,000. I said, go do something. And
That's never happened in my life.
Then she's like, she's not working at the moment. I said, how come? She goes, I just decided to take a year off work. She got 2 properties and her mum's yard is fully paid off, so like there's no one there half the time, so she's like, she just kind of goes between. And I said, the properties, ain't you renting them out? She's like, no. I was like, so
Don't even need it.
so the other day we was talking and she was like, why have you been down about this, that? I said to her, I feel like I'm just constantly just working all the time and I have no time for myself or time for people. Then she mentioned exactly what we said. Everyone struggles relative. So she's like, I know you've been through stuff, but she's like, see it like this. What you're going through at the moment is just a passing and someone is wishing they were you.
Bingo.
Then I said, you know what? Snap, you're right. So from that, I just stopped.
Yeah, bro.
I just stopped complaining.
But your
Then
life
instantly,
has
I just
taught you
said, in the morning, I'll get in there, train, jump in my car. The other day, Saturday, I think I was in my car from like from around 11. I came and showered quickly. Then my friend's birthday, 40th. I worked all the way there. So I got there about 12:30. Then I left there about 1:45. I jumped in my car and I worked all the way back till 4 a.m. So I was in my car maybe about 14 hours on Saturday. Then I thought to myself, it's all because she just mentioned everyone's struggle is relative to each other and someone wants to be you now. So even though you might be like in pain or complaining about this, that, you ain't got, she's like, my mom was probably the same. And now she's at where she is and you're about to be the same. So she goes,
I agree but disagree.
huh?
I agree but I disagree.
Go on.
I don't like when people try to demean my pain. I don't like it. And I tell you what,
I feel
I agree,
you.
someone's
Yeah.
situation is always worse than yours,
Yeah.
but when
Yeah.
someone says that, especially when you're feeling something,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when you might have an issue and someone will show you someone in a wheelchair. I'm like, okay, cool, but my back's still hurting.
No, I hear that, but it's not. You know, it's the same thing. You see the
no,
word
no,
burden. You see the burden word when there was like a.
That wasn't meant to be a funny part.
No, but there's a feeling because because this is the same argument I have with like women that I deal with. Like like you can feel something. There's times when I feel
plural, Pete.
What did I
Plural.
Is it women that you deal with? No, that's
Oh,
fine.
shit.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Keep that in, please.
do? Well done. You got me.
Yeah, them
Like,
sugar.
a feel, yeah. Like, there's times when I feel a certain. That's why I don't operate off of feel. Like, see, like if you do something that I feel a way about, I'm not gonna address it. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna think about it logically. Then I'm gonna think about why I feel a certain way. I'm not gonna act off
You're a
feel.
serial killer then?
No, because you know what it is. Sometimes you feel a certain. There's times I feel.
It's logical.
Like there's times I've felt a certain way about a situation. Like even like exes, I felt a certain way, but then I logically go past it and I'm like, rah, thank God I didn't operate off of feel because that I wasn't correct to feel like that. You know, your feeling can be incorrect.
So if
it's
I
true
say
to you.
I'm not gonna say it, but if I say to you, suck your mum, you're gonna think I'm gonna take that, deal with it logically, because I don't want to react a certain way because me and kid might not ever be friends again.
No, but wait, Brett, that's not a thing. Like that's not a big deal to me. Between we talk. It's banter. So you don't mean it like
You
that.
can't banter me like that still.
Is it?
No, you can't.
I hear you.
can't.
Yeah, but your
You
mum.
can't. I might kill you.
Yeah, God forbid. your mum's not here
I
though,
mean,
so
dead
I
serious.
understand
actually
that.
kill
I
someone
understand
if
that.
someone said that.
But
Was that before your mum passed away?
No, even before that. Yeah. But it got worse after that.
No, of course, I heard that.
There's certain things that it's just, it's not bad to me.
But don't get me wrong. There's times when certain people could say that to me and I react that way. But
Bro,
it's like
I had it as a pin tweet for like 2 years. I said, "Rah, you could banter me about anything in life, just don't mention my mum."
That was like my cousin Bear. When his mum, listen,
Yeah.
he used to scare me. People used to make jokes about it. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, bro. I'd be like, cuz, he didn't mean it, man. Like, oh, your mum, man, your mum. Man, back in the days, your mum would just the thing. And he said, like, please. You just start crying. And like, I'm thinking, when he starts crying, he's gonna mash
It's rage.
you up.
Yeah, it's rage.
I was like, bro.
And the thing
please.
is, you know the thing is here. What I realized how bad it is, bro. If someone pushed me to that limit and I've done something to them, I'd actually feel no remorse.
which is kind of dangerous because
It's
you let them control you.
Because you see what it is.
Do you think? So you think it's safe to say that words hurt?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
But isn't it optional?
Yeah, I feel like that's optional.
No,
man.
they
It's
do.
how you take it.
You're right.
Like, you see,
It is optional.
You know, you see the things,
It's optional.
yeah? Like, the bond with my mum, yeah?
No,
Like, even though certain times, yeah, I used to get pissed with her, yeah? Like, you know when someone's your brethren?
Yeah.
Like, we would have, like, little... We wouldn't even have, like, serious arguments, but it was just more... I'll tell her, "Rah, what you doing here? You're not patterning."
This to make me want to squash the beef with my mum.
You get what I'm saying? I'll talk to her and I'll say, "Rah, what you doing here? You're not patterning correctly." And she'll tell me the same thing. But it was never argument. It's like, "Rah," she was smart enough to be able to listen to me. You know, like some people, yeah, like especially in African culture, when they're older, they think that, because I know I've lived longer than you.
I'm older than you.
I've lived longer than you, older than you, blah, blah, blah. But I've said to her that, "Rah, I've seen more than you in my short time."
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
They don't believe that though.
So
they don't believe that.
from when I've said that to her and I've done more than you in that short time, she started to respect me more than...
But at what point do you stop allowing the disrespect from parents? At what point, or do you just continue accepting it? At what point is the cut-off point? At what point are you an adult, for instance, and you say, "I'm not taking this anymore," like no mum, or no dad.
What do you mean by disrespect though?
So for instance, let's just say, so I can only talk in my culture. For instance, in my culture, generally speaking, it's not a discussion. So for instance, no matter how old you are, you're always my child. It's Gabriel. When can you go and get this for me? It's not Gabriel. Can you get this for me? If that makes sense. Or it could be the guilt tripping that parents might do, where I did all of this for you, and that's probably my biggest vendetta I have with some parents, and I've seen it with some of the boys I mentor. I don't think you should ever mention all the stuff you've done for your child. I don't think you should mention it.
My mum don't mention anything she's ever done for me.
I don't think you should.
I would have. You see the same.
I don't think you should.
No, but you see the same tips
Never,
you have
ever.
with your mums, your parents,
You should-
though. Yeah,
so
I don't
what-
have those tips with my mum. No, I used to though. I used to have these tips, and then one day, I don't know how my dad found out. But my dad came to me, sat me down, and like my dad weren't even there for me growing up. It's only when I reached like a teenager he stepped back in my life. But my mum, he explained to me, your mum has done stuff that I never did for you. Your mum has been there for you, and he told me all the stuff she's done. It made me feel like a piece of shit.
Or maybe we should give mums an allowance because of the double work they had to do. But I think to mention what you've done as a guilt trip for a situation. For instance, you said you mentioned to your kids the stuff that you've done. And what is that? Why is that?
Because it's a thing like, well, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have that. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here. But you know, the double standard switching it around, yeah. My dad couldn't tell me to do certain things that my mum asked me to do.
But it goes, kid,
know what I
but it
mean?
goes back to what I said. Did your kids ask to be born?
No, but it's an age. I think you lot, because you lot are coming from
You
an
get what I'm
adult
saying?
perspective, though.
So you can't, your kids didn't ask to be born, so you can't hit them with, if it wasn't for me. Like I said to you, man, when I have kids, there's no way I'm going to chop them lines.
Alright, so say you've got
I
a kid.
can't afford to
No, but
chop them
say you've
lines,
got a kid,
'cause
though,
I'm
yeah?
the one who made you come here. So you're fully
when
my
they
responsibility.
piss
No, but let's go down.
You're fully my responsibility. Like, it's not the reverse.
No, I hear you, but say you have a kid now, hypothetical situation now, yeah, and you need your kid to do something, or you ask them to do something,
Yeah.
and they're not doing it.
And they embarrass you.
And now forget embarrassment. Are you not therefore to say, but all right, cool, but when I did this, and I did this, and I did this for you, and I wasn't asked, and you never asked me for it, you asked me to do this, I do this, and I do this for you.
What do you mean never asked though?
What do you mean?
When you say like I didn't, you never asked me to do
Like
this.
you never asked me to do certain things. I've done things for you, and on top
Who's
of that,
meant to do it though?
no. But then on top of that, there's things you have. Like my daughter asks me for stuff all the time.
But who's meant to do it though?
No, but I'm meant to do it. No, I don't have to. My daughter gets luxuries. My daughter has AirPods, iPhone this, tracksuit this. She's got more expensive clothes than me. I don't have to do these things. She asks me for it and I do it. But when I'm asking her to do something, she's acting away about it, I just highlight, bearing in mind, I do all this for you, you know. So if you're not going to do something I ask you to do,
I drop that
don't
all the
expect
time.
me to be doing stuff you ask me. I'm going to give you I'm not even the bare minimum. I'm just going to do what I have to now.
I drop that all the
Because
time.
now you have stuff your friends didn't have. You have stuff that I didn't have growing up as a child. And so now I know firsthand this stuff is not a
Okay,
necessity.
so do you mean the privileges then? Maybe because my thing is that if what I consider all you've done for me is what is meant to be done. So for instance, I put a roof over your head.
That's it though.
You had
Roof, food and water.
Yeah, which is the
suitable
basics.
attire. That's it. Anything other than that is a bonus.
And if you have to do 3 or 4 jobs to do that, and I'm a child, I don't know whether or not you can use that as leverage in any discussion.
No, not the bare minimum. I'm not saying that. But I do more. Like you have stuff that I didn't have. You have, like my brothers are 18 and 6. They don't have certain things that you have already. And I do this because I want you to have all you want to have, because I grew up not having what I want to have. But flip side, like my daughter got excluded the other day for video recording some stupid fight at a school. The school's phoning me now. So I've told her, don't do this because it's causing me headache. So she's gone back to school and she's done it again now. So I'm saying like, boom, I pay for this for you. You do this and do this. I ask you to do one thing and you can't do it for me. So when
I get that now.
When I start not doing
now.
stuff that you want me to do.
That is different.
Yeah, I get
You get
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
That is totally different.
So you can refer to, there's certain things
Yeah.
maybe not, but there's certain things you
that is
can
totally
refer
different.
to. It's how it's used. Because as adults, it might be different, but as kids, there's no other way I can explain for her to understand this.
You know, I get what you mean now in that context, but I just don't know whether I like it in the context of bringing you into this world and
Nah, you can't use that.
and using that as your leverage to say I did this many jobs.
African parents used to throw
and
them
I hate
lines.
that.
Me, wouldn't it be born?
Yeah,
But
they used to
Caribbean
throw
parents
them-
do that as
they used
well,
to
though.
throw- They used to throw them lines.
And I just think we all need to make sure that we pattern up enough from now so that our children are not having these discussions when they're our age and we're 66, 67, and we're that guy outside the bookies, or we're that guy who's not made anything of his life. Because I've got a bit of anxiety now because, as I said, I'm hitting 40. Most mortgages are 25 years. If I want to retire at 66, I need to make sure I'm living mortgage free. Because, as I said, my mum thankfully has got a property, but it's not outright, so she owns it. She misses her payment tomorrow, the bank take it off
So
her.
the all mortgages stop at 66 years old, or when your pension's done.
So basically,
No, it's the calculations.
there's a certain, I'm just using a calculation, meaning that because I'm hitting 40, most mortgages are at 25 years typically. So by 65, the age of retirement for your pension, the state pension, is 66 in the UK. So by 25, 26 years time, technically I should have
So
retired.
if I'm 65 and I'm financially stable, you tell me I'm not going to get a mortgage?
You won't need one.
You can't.
buy it.
You can't. They won't lend you a mortgage. They won't give you a mortgage.
Yeah, yeah.
You sure though?
No, they won't.
check
They
it.
won't.
No, but
They won't.
if he's
they won't.
got
If
M's,
No,
They wouldn't need one.
huh?
They wouldn't
No,
need
they-
one. You try it. You won't
Yeah,
get
but
a
then when
mortgage.
he's dead, we just get the house back.
They won't
they
won't give you one.
It's a cheaper investment because my dad's got houses, but all he did is he paid the rent for a certain amount. He could kind of remortgage, and then he just kept buying and kept doing that.
You can do that, but
you
at
can
the
play
age
the
of,
game.
but you can't be 66 and get a mortgage. And if you will, they'll probably only give you like a year or 2 year mortgage. You can't get a mortgage to a certain duration past a certain age.
That is-
Because you're not working. Come on, by 66, you're technically meant to be retired.
What about if I'm self-employed?
As in, what do you mean? At that age, you won't be able to get a mortgage at 66. Like, and if they did, it's going to be some mad maybe you've got $100,000 mortgage for like 2 years. You're not going to get a 25-year mortgage at 66.
You have to be financially in a certain place. Like say you got hundreds of thousands in the bank with that bank you want to get a mortgage from. They're going to give it to you.
I'm not clued up enough to say yes.
True.
But what I do know is that
I'm just doing devil's advocate too.
no. What I do know is that at 66 you won't get a mortgage.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not if you show them 85 million, the bank might be like, okay, you got 85 mil. There you go. But I don't know. But I know that at 66, with my mum now, who's hitting 70, she cannot remortgage that. She cannot get a mortgage on that.
She's in a good position though.
No.
She could sell. The house is worth more than what's left on it.
Yeah,
So she could sell and take money and...
Yeah, so what will happen now though is that she'll have to sell the family home, okay, which is fine. She'll maybe get like maybe 250 grand out of it. What's she buying with 250?
I'm cutting to Nigeria that one.
Yeah, but you can...
Wait. She's not 250k, so she sold the property now. She's now got 250
You know what she
grand.
can do?
I'm cutting to
She can
Nigeria.
live on a cruise boat amazingly for the rest of her life.
Well, let's just say she lives another 20 years. Yeah?
I'll say fuck the kids, man.
So she's now 90.
She guys be dying to say that.
Do you know that's not enough money?
Mum just get
You know
busy,
that, right?
man.
Because 400 grand divided by 20 is £20,000 a year, which is £1,600 a month.
That's why I said I'll cut to Nigeria.
How much is she? What's she going to live
How
on?
much is a cruise?
I don't know. For the month, it's
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be more than
living
that.
that's my goal, you know. When I get old, I'm living on a cruise boat.
Yeah?
They have doctor on there. They make food every day. They give you new towel, new this, new everything. I'm living on a cruise boat and just
One thing I know, my dad lives in a hotel.
all that. That's
He
what.
lives in a hotel, bro. He lives in a hotel,
So he must have saved some good money.
and he doesn't work. He's a what's them? Is it a boofer? No, they buy tickets and sell tickets.
What's it called? What's the word?
Spoofer? Is it?
No, not
Boofer?
spoofer.
What's it called?
What's
Busker?
No, that's the singing guy.
No, you know the guys who stay outside
What's the word?
venues and...
What's the word?
Oh,
Oscar.
he resells tickets.
Yeah, but there's a word for it. But he's been doing this for years, bro, and he's been living in the hotel for at least
the word for
10
it?
years.
I don't know the word for it, but
So
yeah.
he must just be on the internet every day just thinking, what's the next
Bro, he's got
event?
no bills.
Does your mum own the property she lives in? Okay. And I know it's I just think it's for me it's giving me
You
anxiety.
think you're going to retire here?
I'm already making plans to move to Ghana. I'm going to Ghana in 3 weeks.
To live there.
No, I'm going to see
you
the
Ghanaian?
landscape. Say again?
Are you Ghanaian?
No, I'm Nigerian.
Oh, that's
But I'm not trying to stay here. And I'm
Why Ghana over Nigeria?
Nigeria, from what I can't
Screwy.
talk of the whole of Nigeria because I've only been to Lagos and Abuja, but I haven't been to the whole of it. But what I've seen in Nigeria so far, it's not safe for me. And I'm at the point now where safety is not probably safety or peace. I think
Got a lot
both
of
come
family over
together in Nigeria,
Yeah.
bits and pieces. I've got no family obviously in Ghana, but my safety, I don't know what's more important, my safety or my peace. I think they both come together. But my safety right now in general is probably my highest priority right now. And I don't feel safe. And when I mean safe, I don't feel safe financially.
What, here?
I don't feel safe financially. And I don't feel safe also, I think, having nice things especially maybe in this part of London I live in, probably isn't the smartest thing. People are very red-eye.
Yeah.
Red
I don't think it's very safe in this country. And I don't feel, and those are my two things. I don't feel safe physically. I don't feel safe financially in this country. The tax is too much.